Hello guys, so they just did a little, well not just, but like 5 hours ago they did a live stream looking at 8.1 in raids and stuff, and I might talk about that later, but shortly after that live stream they made a forum post on Omajarn's post, basically saying a quick peek at the things they're going to be doing in 8.1 for Elemental Shaman, so let's look at that real quick. Now keep in mind, there's a good chance this isn't all of the changes they're making for Elemental Shaman, but it's just like a nice little peek at what they could be doing, so let's take a look. So the core changes of the spec, they are going to be nerfing Earthshock a bit in order to buff Lightning Bolt. They're going to be shifting some of the damage over to Lightning Bolt because they want us to use more lightning. They do say that Earthshock will still be our hardest hitting spell as like a filler, or not as a filler, as like a spender, but they do want Lightning Bolt to feel a bit more powerful. Now, another change that I think is much more influential to actual gameplay is Lava Burst has had its functionality changed behind the scenes to allow an in-flight Lava Burst to gain a guaranteed critical strike from a Flame Shot cast after the Lava Burst has been cast. So this basically means you can pre-cast a Lava Burst on a raid boss, and as long as you Flame Shock before it actually hits the target, it will guarantee a crit. This is a change that has been... I've been hoping for a change like this for a very long time, I'll just put it that way. It makes things feel so much cleaner. It could definitely help in PvP as well. So this is definitely a very nice quality of life change. Even for like questing and stuff, you can begin casting a Lava Burst and then Flame Shock, and it will guarantee a crit. One downside of this is if you do cast a Lava Burst at the end of a Flame Shock and it hits, it probably won't crit if the Flame Shock expires, but you shouldn't really let that happen anyway. Now talent changes. The level 15 talent Elemental Blast will now always pick a different secondary stat when causing an elemental overload. So previously, if Elemental Blast overloaded, it had a chance to give you another stats, or it would just give you the same stat twice, but it wouldn't actually stack, it would just refresh it, so it would be actually really bad. So this does make Elemental Blast a little bit better, but mostly it's just like a functionality change to make it just function a little more consistently. Now, another change that I've actually been really hoping for is the level 30 talent Master of the Elements can now also benefit a physical damage spell, basically meaning Earthquake. It's the only physical damage spell. But this does allow a Master of the Elements to be a little bit more useful in AoE. Now, there are no changes to actually get us to make use of Lava Burst during AoE, but I'm hoping that's coming later. If they do have some sort of change to make, or to encourage Lava Burst during AoE, this could be a really, really nice gameplay. So one other change that is pretty big as well is Stormkeeper. Now Stormkeeper also increases the damage of your next 2 lightning bolts by 250% in addition to its existing effects. This damage bonus will also apply to the elemental overloads. Now keep in mind this is only for lightning bolt according to this post, so Stormkeeper will not buff chain lightning damage, though Stormkeeper for chain lightning is already pretty good. If it was buffed by 250%, that would be a little bit absurd, though I'm definitely not against a little damage buff, because it does feel like a little bit of a noodle when you use it. It's mostly for the Maelstrom, but we'll see how that goes. It is on a single target talent row, so I don't really expect it to be good. I don't really expect it to get buffed for AoE, but this is definitely a nice change for things like boss damage and Mythic Plus, or if you're specing Stormkeeper for AoE in a raid, you can still use it on the boss and not just have it be like a DPS neutral because of the cast time. Now, the talent element, or exposed elements, has been removed, and Earth and Rage has taken its place. I think that's a pretty good change there as well. High Voltage has been removed, which is a nice change because now they can actually buff Lightning Bolt and make it a little more powerful without having this crazy Lightning Bolt build. The Lightning Bolt build is basically just going away, which in my opinion is a very good thing. And then there's 2 new talents, but they haven't actually told us what they do yet. Level 60 row for High Voltage, they've added Call to Thunder. Level 90 row for Earth and Rage, which is now in the 15 row, they have Surge of Power. So there were artifact traits named after these abilities, but reading the artifact traits and reading this whole paragraph here basically just says that they didn't like how they had these passive talents that didn't really change how you played the game at all. And these artifact traits that were named after this were pretty much entirely passive, so I wouldn't look too far into that. I don't think they're the same thing. I do think these are going to be 2 entirely new concepts, or if they are old concepts, they are not going to be those passive ones. But we'll get to see what that is pretty soon. The PTR will probably be up this weekend, and I will definitely be on it looking into this stuff. Yeah, to summarize my thoughts on these changes, I do think every single change listed here is a very good change. other than maybe these talents. I don't actually know what they do. But all the changes that I can actually identify on this list are very, very good changes. But I don't really know if it's enough. I would definitely like more changes, but it's a good start to have all good changes, nothing bad. So I do think this is good news for sure, and this is also wanted to share the current plan of what's being changed for Elemental Shaman. I don't remember what exactly. It's like kind of implied that keep in mind that these new talents as well as all the other changes are still under iteration, may change entirely throughout the patch cycle. We're very early in the 8.1 patch cycle. It's probably going to be a couple months at this point. So they may add a lot more onto this, like the Master of the Elements change for Earthquake. I definitely don't think that being alone would be that great of a change. Like, it's obviously a better change than no change, but I do think they should have us using Lava Burst during AoE, like a proc off of Chain Lightning or something, to make Lava Burst hits maybe all Flame Shocked targets, or have Lava Burst just splash. Something like that, something along those lines would be pretty nice in order to get us to maximize Master of the Elements and weave in the Lava Bursts with the Earthquakes and stuff. That would be pretty nice. Because as it stands, even with this change, I suspect that we still won't be using Lava Bursts on more than 3 targets at all. So I definitely would like some more changes, but just to reiterate, I definitely think these changes are very, very good so far. But yeah, as soon as more happens, I will let you guys know, and as soon as PTR is up, I will definitely be on there testing it. But hopefully you guys are as excited as I am to finally be getting some nice changes.